Ecosystem. Community of organisms and environment. Every species plays a vital role in maintaining ecological balance in an ecosystem. The marine ecosystem is increasingly endangered by plastic waste and overfishing. Protecting natural ecosystems is vital for biodiversity and long-term human survival. Habitat. The natural home of a living organism. Deforestation leads to the destruction of critical wildlife habitat across regions. Wildlife depends on natural habitats for shelter, food, and reproduction success. Protected areas help safeguard habitat and promote species survival effectively. Succession. Gradual change in ecosystems over time. Understanding succession helps manage landscapes for long-term sustainability. Ecological succession describes the natural process of gradual ecosystem change. Secondary succession happens after disturbances, such as fires or floods drastically. Symbiosis. Long-term interaction between species. Some ants protect plants in symbiosis, while receiving shelter and food resources. Symbiosis involves close relationships, where different species benefit each other. Parasitism is a harmful symbiosis, where one organism exploits another's resources. Conservation. Protection of nature and resources. Wildlife conservation helps restore population numbers of threatened animals. Soil conservation prevents land degradation and supports sustainable agriculture. Conservation efforts help protect endangered species from extinction worldwide. Sustainability. Using resources without depleting them. Renewable energy is a cornerstone of sustainability in combating climate change. Sustainability practices include recycling, composting, and reducing plastic usage. Sustainability means using resources without depleting them for future generations. Biosphere. Earth's life-supporting zones and systems. Climate change alters the biosphere by affecting species migration and survival. The biosphere includes all living organisms and their surrounding environments. Biodiversity within the biosphere ensures ecological balance and species survival. Precipitation. Water falling from clouds as rain, snow. Acid precipitation can damage crops, ecosystems, and infrastructure severely. Precipitation variability challenges water resource planning and crop cultivation. Precipitation levels influence agricultural productivity and water supply stability. Photosynthesis. Plants convert sunlight into chemical energy. Photosynthesis efficiency depends on light, carbon dioxide, and temperature. Scientists study photosynthesis to develop artificial energy-producing systems. Algae contribute significantly to oceanic photosynthesis and carbon absorption. Acidification. Increase of acidity in oceans or soil. Ocean acidification threatens marine life due to increased carbon dioxide levels. Industrial emissions contribute to acidification, damaging forests and soil quality. Acidification poses serious risks to fisheries that many communities depend upon. Carbonization. Conversion of organic matter into carbon. Industrial carbonization releases pollutants that affect air quality in urban areas. Industrial carbonization processes can increase environmental carbon emissions. Carbonization significantly affects the carbon cycle and atmospheric composition. Biodiversity. Variety of living species in an ecosystem. Tropical rainforests are known for their incredible biodiversity and rare species. Protecting biodiversity is essential for maintaining ecosystem stability and health. Biodiversity supports ecosystem services, such as pollination and water purification. Stratosphere. Atmospheric layer above the troposphere. Harmful chemicals can rise and damage the protective stratospheric ozone layer. Scientists monitor the stratosphere to study changes in atmospheric gases yearly. Aircraft emissions sometimes reach the lower stratosphere, impacting air quality. Geothermal. Energy from Earth's internal heat. Iceland utilizes abundant geothermal power for electricity and heating purposes. Geothermal energy uses heat from Earth's interior to generate sustainable power. Utilizing geothermal resources helps lower greenhouse gas emissions significantly. Discharge. Release of substances into environment. Regulations limit industrial discharge to reduce harmful effects on natural habitats. Airborne pollutant discharge contributes to climate change and respiratory diseases. Thermal discharge from power plants can disrupt local aquatic temperature balance. Precaution. Action to prevent environmental harm. Precautionary steps were taken to minimize deforestation and habitat destruction. Precaution is vital in preserving endangered species and protecting natural habitats. Taking precautions against pollution is crucial for future environmental sustainability. Avalanche. Sudden snow mass slides down the slope. Avalanches cause severe damage to ecosystems and human infrastructure alike. Mountain ecosystems are vulnerable to sudden avalanche-triggered habitat loss. Proper warning systems help reduce casualties during avalanche seasons annually. Heatwave. Prolonged period of extremely hot weather. Prolonged heatwaves severely strain water supplies and agricultural productivity. Heatwaves increase health risks, especially for elderly and vulnerable populations. Heatwave events severely impact ecosystems and biodiversity across many regions. Salinization. Salt accumulation in soil harming plants. Monitoring groundwater quality is essential to prevent progressive salinization. Proper irrigation management can prevent salinization and maintain soil health. Salinization reduces crop yields, threatening farmers' livelihoods and food supply. Humidity. Amount of water vapor in the air. Excessive humidity may reduce crop yield and damage agricultural productivity. Monitoring humidity is crucial for managing Greenhouse conditions in agriculture. The forest maintains natural humidity, supporting rich biodiversity and vegetation. Monsoon. Seasonal wind bringing heavy rainfalls. The monsoon season brings vital rainfall for agriculture in many Asian countries. Monsoons help replenish rivers and groundwater resources after dry seasons end. Farmers rely heavily on monsoon rainfall for planting and harvesting crops annually. Albedo. Surface's ability to reflect sunlight. Albedo measures Earth's surface reflectivity, affecting energy absorption rates. Human activities alter albedo, contributing to regional temperature fluctuations. Snow's high albedo reflects sunlight, reducing global warming effects significantly. Weathering. Breakdown of rocks by natural forces. Weathering shapes landscapes and affects soil nutrient distribution significantly. Physical weathering includes freeze-thaw action, cracking mountain surfaces apart. Chemical weathering alters soil composition, affecting plant growth and agriculture. Evaporation. Process of liquid water turning into vapor. Rapid evaporation from lakes contributes to regional water scarcity and drought. Increased evaporation intensifies water shortages in drought-prone environments. Water conservation techniques help reduce evaporation from reservoirs and tanks. Transpiration. Water release from plants into the atmosphere. Transpiration from trees plays a major role in regulating atmospheric moisture. Reduced vegetation cover lowers transpiration, disrupting the water cycle balance. Transpiration by plants releases water vapor, contributing to atmospheric moisture. Condensation. Water vapor turning into liquid droplets. High humidity leads to increased condensation on surfaces like windows and walls. Morning condensation covered the windows due to overnight temperature drops. Condensation contributes significantly to fog and dew formation in moist climates. Contamination. Pollution making environment unsafe. Soil contamination from pesticides affects crop safety and public health directly. Reducing contamination requires strict regulations on chemical use in agriculture. Contamination can disrupt food chains and decrease biodiversity in affected areas. Emission. Release of pollutants into the air environment. Reducing greenhouse gas emissions is essential for Sustainable Development Goals. Carbon dioxide emissions from fossil fuels drive global warming and climate change. Fossil fuel combustion remains the leading cause of harmful atmospheric emissions. Runoff. Water flow carrying pollutants away. Runoff regulation strategies include rain gardens and permeable pavement systems. Heavy rainfall increases runoff, causing soil erosion and flooding in vulnerable areas. Excessive runoff contributes to soil erosion, degrading farmland and natural habitats. Erosion. Wearing away of soil or rock surface. Soil erosion depletes fertile land, negatively impacting crop production worldwide. Erosion affects riverbanks, increasing sediment load and disrupting aquatic habitats. Riverbank erosion reshapes landscapes, affecting water quality and local biodiversity. Deforestation. Removal of forests for other uses. Deforestation increases soil erosion and decreases the land's ability to retain water. The rapid deforestation in tropical areas disrupts global biodiversity balance heavily. Satellite monitoring helps track deforestation and enforce conservation regulations. Overgrazing. Excessive animal grazing damages land. Excessive livestock grazing leads to habitat degradation and desertification risks. Overgrazing causes soil erosion, reducing land productivity and vegetation cover. Overgrazing disrupts wildlife habitats, forcing animals to migrate to other locations. Hydropower. Electricity generated from moving water. Hydropower plants produce electricity without emitting greenhouse gases directly. Hydropower is crucial for balancing energy needs and environmental sustainability. Hydropower reduces reliance on fossil fuels, helping mitigate climate change effects. Fossil fuel. Energy from ancient plants and animals. Governments must regulate fossil fuel emissions to reduce environmental damage. Fossil fuel combustion releases greenhouse gases that trap heat in the atmosphere. Many countries depend heavily on fossil fuels for electricity generation and transport. Fracking. Extracting oil or gas by fracturing rocks. Fracking releases natural gas, but may contaminate underground water supplies. Many environmentalists oppose fracking due to its potential to cause earthquakes. Fracking sites require strict regulations to prevent habitat destruction and pollution. Extraction. Removal of resources from Earth. Excessive resource extraction depletes ecosystems and degrades natural habitats. The extraction of minerals requires strict environmental regulations and oversight. Extraction industries should adopt cleaner technologies to reduce carbon footprints. Reservoir. Stored water body for human use. Reservoirs support biodiversity by providing habitats for various aquatic species. Construction of reservoirs often disrupts local habitats and displaces communities. Rainwater collected in the reservoir helps reduce reliance on underground aquifers. Exploitation. Overuse of natural resources for gain. Indigenous communities often suffer from exploitation of their lands and resources. International laws aim to control exploitation and promote sustainable resource use. Exploitation of forests for timber accelerates climate change through carbon release. Fauna. Plant life in a particular region area. Invasive species introduction often harms native fauna by competing for resources. Protecting local fauna is essential for maintaining balanced and healthy ecosystems. Fauna diversity indicates environmental health and ecosystem resilience to changes. Flora. Plant life of a specific area. Conservation efforts protect native flora from destruction by urban development. Restoration projects focus on reviving damaged flora to restore ecosystem balance. Flora restoration projects help rehabilitate degraded lands and improve soil quality. Pollinator. Animals helping plants reproduce via pollen. Protecting pollinator habitats is essential for sustainable farming and biodiversity. Pollinator decline threatens the reproduction of many flowering plants and crops. Pollinators like butterflies help sustain the health of natural ecosystems worldwide. Migration. Seasonal movement of animals or people. Migration patterns are changing due to global warming and habitat destruction. Marine animal migration is essential for maintaining ecological balance in oceans. Many bird species undertake seasonal migration to find suitable breeding grounds. Hibernation. Period of inactivity during cold weather. Hibernation patterns vary widely among species, depending on climate and habitat. Climate change can interfere with animals' hibernation cycles and survival chances. Hibernation helps some animals reduce metabolic rates during scarce food periods. Predation. One organism feeding on another. Protecting predators is essential for maintaining biodiversity in natural habitats. Predation impacts biodiversity by influencing which species survive and reproduce. Changes in habitat may reduce natural predation and cause population explosions. Carnivore. Animal that eats only other animals. Changes in habitat can endanger carnivore populations and disrupt food chains. Carnivores play a critical role in controlling herbivore populations in ecosystems. Large carnivores require extensive territories, making habitat preservation crucial. Herbivore. An animal that eats plants for food. Natural predators regulate herbivore numbers, preventing ecological overgrazing. Overpopulation of herbivores can lead to vegetation depletion and habitat damage. Herbivores feed on plants and influence vegetation dynamics in various ecosystems. Omnivore. Animal that eats plants and animals. An omnivore's digestive system is suited for processing plant and animal material. Human beings are typical omnivores, relying on various food sources for nutrition. The survival of some omnivores depends on seasonal availability of different foods. Extinction. Complete disappearance of a species. Extinction reduces biodiversity, weakening ecosystems' ability to adapt to changes. Habitat destruction directly contributes to the extinction of countless plant species. Scientific research helps identify species most vulnerable to extinction for protection. Germination. Seed sprouting into a new plant. Soil quality and moisture significantly affect the rate of seed germination success. Germination of seeds depends on adequate water, temperature, and soil nutrients. Proper germination techniques improve crop yields and reduce food insecurity risks. Speciation. Formation of new biological species. Human activity sometimes disrupts natural processes, like speciation and extinction. Human activity can disrupt natural speciation processes and reduce genetic diversity. Speciation occurs when populations evolve to become distinct new species over time. Lithosphere. Earth's solid outer crust and mantle. Sustainable management of the lithosphere is essential to prevent land degradation. Soil erosion affects the lithosphere's fertility and agricultural productivity worldwide. Mining activities impact the lithosphere, leading to habitat destruction and pollution. Hydrosphere. All water bodies are on Earth's surface. Overuse of freshwater resources threatens the balance of the entire hydrosphere. Climate change impacts the hydrosphere by altering rainfall patterns and sea levels. The hydrosphere covers all water bodies, including oceans, lakes, rivers, and glacier. Atmosphere. Layers of gases surrounding the Earth. Human activities have significantly altered the atmosphere over the past century. Changes in the atmosphere can lead to unpredictable weather patterns worldwide. The atmosphere's composition affects the survival of both plants and animal species. Archipelago. Group or chain of islands clustered together. Rising sea levels threaten archipelagos by causing coastal erosion and habitat loss. Tourism on the archipelago must balance economic gain with environmental care. Fishing regulations protect marine life surrounding the archipelago's diverse islands. Topography. Physical features of Earth's surface area. Flood risks increase in low-lying areas due to specific topography and weather. Understanding topography helps planners design effective flood control systems. Coastal topography impacts erosion rates and the vulnerability to rising sea levels. Regulation. Environmental rules or legal controls. Environmental regulation is essential to control pollution and protect ecosystems. Water usage regulation helps prevent shortages in drought-prone regions globally. Effective regulation is necessary to control deforestation and preserve biodiversity. Preservation. Keeping ecosystems intact and untouched. Preservation of clean water sources benefits both humans and aquatic ecosystems. Wildlife preservation areas provide safe habitats for endangered species to recover. Governments should fund preservation efforts in environmentally sensitive regions. Mitigation. Reducing the severity of environmental damage. Reforestation is a popular mitigation method to absorb carbon dioxide naturally. Mitigation strategies reduce greenhouse gas emissions to combat global warming. Mitigation efforts focus on enhancing renewable energy adoption worldwide rapidly. Adaptation. Organisms change to survive the environment. Human adaptation to climate change requires innovative and sustainable solutions. Adaptation in agriculture helps crops withstand drought and extreme temperatures. Forest species adaptation depends on genetic diversity and environmental stability. Restoration. Returning ecosystems to original natural state. Wetland restoration improves biodiversity and water quality significantly over time. Forest restoration projects aim to recover habitats for endangered wildlife species. Community involvement is essential in successful environmental restoration projects. Ecotourism. Travel support for nature and conservation. Ecotourism attracts visitors interested in nature and conservation efforts worldwide. Educating tourists about ecosystems is a key goal of ecotourism activities worldwide. Ecotourism requires strict guidelines to ensure a minimal ecological footprint globally. Urbanization. Expansion of cities into natural areas. Urbanization causes significant pressure on water and energy resources globally. Sustainable urbanization policies can promote green spaces within growing cities. Urbanization creates challenges for waste management and water supply systems. Eco-friendly. Not harmful to environment or ecosystems. Using eco-friendly materials helps lower carbon footprints in construction projects. Eco-friendly products reduce pollution and conserve natural resources significantly. Switching to eco-friendly energy sources, like solar, reduces greenhouse gas emissions. Reforestation. Replanting trees in deforested regions. Reforestation helps restore ecosystems damaged by deforestation and soil erosion. Many countries implement reforestation projects to combat climate change effects. Native species planting is crucial for successful and sustainable reforestation efforts. Net zero. Balancing emitted and removed carbon. Achieving net zero requires cutting emissions and increasing carbon offset methods. Achieving net zero emissions requires drastic cuts in fossil fuel consumption globally. Governments worldwide are setting ambitious targets for net zero carbon emissions.